All right, now we'll transition. Tess, what is your topic for that?
Well, with the theme I've had the last couple weeks talking about RPGs, I came across a nice little tool that I thought I would share with you guys for GMs for world building, and it's called World Anvil. It's a website, www.worldanvil.com. Sorry, the sleepy is sapping away my words. It has within it a bunch of tools that are built in and are pre-designed with the world builder in mind. So when you first create your account, it'll actually ask you, are you using this as a player? Are you using this as a GM? Or are you using this to write like a book, a novel? Because that's one of the other
lofty
big
goals
things that people use it for.
Oh man.
It'll activate things, but if you choose, for whatever reason, I don't know why you wouldn't just choose GM, because that activates everything. I guess if you're not wanting to be swamped with everything, or like as a book writer. But when I say everything, it does have a lot of resources built in, and they're still adding things. Well, and I have it pulled up, so you're going to hear some mouse clicking as I kind of scroll through things that I can read to y'all. But when you first log in, you'll be able to create your file, because it does let you save. I think if you're a free user, you can save up to 5 or 6 worlds, and if you're on their Patreon, you can save more. But it is a free resource to use, and the only thing that being on Patreon allows you to do is have more memory saved with them. So it'll ask you, you can create new content, and it gives you 20 different options that you can choose from. Things like buildings, characters, items, vehicles, the normal kind of stuff. But then it also even has headings for different languages, technologies, traditions, even natural laws if they change for whatever reason in your world, whether it's from magic or whatever. It has an option for you to create that. Each one, it actually has a predetermined, or not predetermined, but a questions that it will ask you that help, like prompts. There we go. It has a bunch of prompts to help you in deciding and creating and fleshing out. And it may be that you only use 1 or 2 of everything that it shows, but a lot of things there for any given thing you could think to create for your world. It puts it together in a Wikipedia-like thing, because it is, but it isn't. But in the same way that like D&D SRD kind of is, I guess. I don't know what term you'd use for that.
I mean, it builds a wiki, basically.
A wiki, I guess, but it's different, but it is a wiki, I guess. The stock page that it creates for you it's very nicely done. It has a very nice layout and is reminiscent of the old 3.5 pages from D&D. At least for me, I guess it might not 100% be like that, but it definitely has that feel to it. But it does allow you to customize them and change up the pages to match and fit the theme of your world. For Stars Without Number. And so we're doing it, obviously it's a sci-fi campaign, so eventually I'm going to get around to changing it up to, instead of looking like old parchment, to look like a data slab type thing, is kind of the goal. But it's cool because you can share it with your players, and you can, whenever you set something to publish, you can either publish it to everyone, or you can publish it to only people that you have checked off. So you can use it to say, okay, guys, before you come to tomorrow's session, make sure you jump into the website and just take a look at something I posted. It even has resource for like RPG reports after the game, so that way you can have a nice little concise, this is what we did this day, this is what we did this way, and allow people to come back and just refresh themselves whenever they need to.
Sounds good for online games.
Yeah, it does.
It really is. And I haven't played with it yet, but it does have a built-in dice roller, this semi Google Hangout type thing that's built in. That one I haven't gotten a chance to play with it yet. I just played a little bit with the dice roller part of that, but
Will they get maps, and will they try to compete with Roll20?
That's the thing. Like, they don't have maps built in, but they do have an area for you to upload maps you've made, and then you can link it to different pages. Pretty much anything that you make that has the location tab, it'll ask if you need to put a map, and then even if you put a map, if you say this, say like you make a city, it'll ask for a city map. But then if you say that the city's part of this nation, it'll also ask for a link to the nation map. Or just stringing everything you've created, just stringing it all together. It kind of takes a lot of the work out of things and just lets you just fill in blocks, fill in blanks, and it just does it for you.
Yeah.
And it makes it really nice.
So how did you stumble upon this exactly?
Yeah.
Don't remember.
Ted's sleepy.
That is the best answer.
I think because I've been watching watching a bunch of YouTube videos for GMing stuff, and specifically trying to find. This was back when I was doing research for 2 weeks ago, when I was talking about sci-fi games and why they're difficult to run. And was the guy's channel is called How to Be a Great GM. I forget now, but anyway, he had an episode that was specifically talking about different resources for GMs, and he touched on it just for like 30 seconds and went on because he had a bunch of resources. So I just opened up a whole bunch of tabs and just looked through each one of them, and that was how I came across it. So,
Well, I mean, it seems to have done it.
let me pull open one of the just to give you guys an idea.
Let's see how you're using it for the game you want to play. Like, what have you done so far?
So one thing that it does do as well is once you create your world, you can also create campaigns. Again, if you want to use like a lot of the RPG stuff and kind of fold them together as well. So you can even create character sheets with their in-system character sheet builder. And it does actually have some, they're still working on adding character sheets, but it does have some already built in. So that way you can just immediately, pull up a D&D, 5th edition character sheet and fill in the blanks and you're good to go. See, so some of the things that I've added to it so far, right now I have 4 players that I've added in. I've added in their 4 home worlds and their different systems, starting location. Starting the game because it's a tried and true RPG method of starting them in jail. So they're going to be starting on a space station, a penitentiary space station, and they have to escape. I've been doing that's not public, but I've been creating this station and behind the scenes putting in all the stats for the different characters that are running the station, any enemies they may come across, NPCs, a whole bunch of different things like that. So that way I just have it in a nice single location. I can just pull up a couple tabs, boom, I have them all in front of me. Well, if I wanted to create a new character, for example, just looking at the first tab of options it gives me, it lets me give them their name, given family, middle, nickname, any honorifics, year of birth and year of death, all of your basic eyes, height, hair, weight, blah, blah, species, ethnicity, and then the links to both the character portrait, but then also their current location. So wherever your players have left off, you can go in and say, okay, this person is at this location. Well, they split the party, so these guys are actually over here. And so people can kind of, if you're updating it after every single session, they can keep up where their characters are going.
Huh.
And then beyond that, it has tabs for mental, physical, personal, social, wealth, and then if they're divine or they're deity of some kind. And each one of those has, let's see, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different prompts within mental, a few more than that in physical. Wealth only has 1, but deity has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So. And so again, some of the writing prompts it gives you for the divine deity type deal, you have your domains, any symbols and sigils, tenets of faith, those kind of things, but then also divine goals, the name of your church or your cult if the divinity is a cult, any holidays that you're follow, any holy books and the codes therein. Tenets of faith, even the realms that you either reside in or that your list is mostly from.
Yeah.
So
it takes that
you-
info and adds it to the wiki, basically.
exactly, and it builds it in.
And it gives you like, you know, the basis of what to think about to really like flesh out a particular thing.
Exactly. And in the case of writing, I guess you can, like if you're doing it for a book, you can fully write out everything. But then as a GM, you can either use it just for quick notes to remind yourself for when you're playing with that character, if it's an NPC, or you can do full things for your players to read. Like do full out statements that you plan on showing them, but then just a couple bullet points for you to know, like, but you don't want your characters to know, like so and so is planning on betraying them at this point, but they don't know that, so whatever. I plan on so and so to die at this position, whatever.
Yeah, nice, lots of little notes you can help keep.
And then you can give it different tags. Every single entry you can give it a cover image beyond tagging any images in there. One of the things I thought was cool, I'm going to jump over to the geography. So if you're creating some type of, it says geography, but it's also galaxies, solar systems, as much as planets, moons, planets, mountains, ranges, valleys, that kind of stuff. But then you go in and it asks you, parent location, but then the type of location. And then in there it has like abyss, archipelago, asteroid belt, cave system, region, just easily 40, 50 options for location type alone. And it starts to put all that stuff together. And then if you've tied it to a parent location, everything together. And so you can even give the geographies, locations, relationships, so that way it knows and it can tell your players this is to the north of this, but to the east of this city, and
I'm just looking over the website in of itself, and I mean, like, it's interesting that you can go and check out the different worlds that people make as well.
Yeah, if you turn it public, anybody can just jump in and start taking a look at your stuff.
You can actually just look at it, and it'll even tell you like who's following it. You can actually just opt to follow it, I guess, if you've got your own login. And
I wonder if you did like adventure summaries, if people would like read them on there. If lots of people are following your world,
they might.
That might be interesting.
They have a very active Discord, and I'm in it, but I'm not really active doing stuff there. But they have a whole channel dedicated to just reading action reports and giving feedback on action reports of either a game, or if somebody might write an action report for a battle that's in their book or something. That's pretty cool.
If I ever do like another Third Day of Thunder-esque thing, we might like try this out just to see the functionality. It might be interesting. I don't know how many people are doing it for L5R stuff either.
It's
I haven't seen very many, and I think that's just because this is an RPG thing. But most of them are fantasy, like Western fantasy based D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just by nature of being the most popular, probably.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I know you linked your like star map before or something, didn't you, in Discord?
Yeah, but that was for a different. I mean, it was originally for this, but things have kind of changed, and the current map is different than that one. I have to go back and make it similar to that one, and I'll
Yeah, it
upload it
looks
once
cool.
that happens.
I just would want to mess around with it some, which requires time.
Yeah, and it's pretty in depth, so it can take some time to learn things, but it's also friendly and very intuitive. The way it's designed and the way that it prompts everything, you're not really questioning what's going on. It's pretty straightforward. So it's a very easy tool to use. In depth, sure, or you can, it might take some time to learn everything you can use it for, but it's not going to take you long to learn each trick, I guess. I'm very much enjoying playing with it. I don't know how much I'm going to fully use it for this game, but it definitely helps in the planning stages of things.
Yeah, maybe you should give us some updates after you run a few sessions or whatever, and see how you've been utilizing it when your game's actually like in motion, I guess.
Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing how well it's played out, and if people have been utilizing and liking it or not.
Have added, because we had a session 0 on Monday, but only half of the players were able to make it. So I've already uploaded their character sheets into it and made their profiles for their characters. And so far they've been poking around with it, but again, it's session 0, and it's not like there's a lot for them to poke around in right now. So, so I'll definitely keep you guys up to speed as things go on.
Gotcha.